Well, hello there, my friend. Wow, it's like I haven't been speaking English my whole life. I'm glad you're here. It's good to see you again. Back on the channel where we cut through sensationalism and fluff, get right to the important stories in true crime. Today we are departing from what we have been covering for quite some time, which are mostly homicides. And we're moving over to a very important case that is happening right now, and it is a missing persons case. Aubrey Wu, her name is Enci. She goes by Aubrey. She is missing out of eastern Pennsylvania, kind of along the New Jersey border area, Northampton County. And this is a case that was suggested on the fish tank. I am really grateful that it was. Thank you very much. I didn't scroll to the right spot, but yeah, somebody here on the fish tank told me to look into this case, and I have, and it's a very, very important case. So thank you. I'm sorry that I don't remember who it was that brought it up, but thank you for bringing it up. Okay, Aubrey Wu. Now, I titled this video Family Secrets, Harassment Allegations, Missing Teen, right? And I'm going to just get into the whole angle of family secrets, harassment allegations, because I just want to cut past them first, and then we'll get into what is super important. We're going to do it very, very quickly. Join me over here on Acrobat. This is an article from the Daily Voice, which is a hyper-local news source there in Northampton Valley. They call that the Lehigh Valley, Northampton County, Lehigh Valley. Okay. So John F. German III, 44, currently of Easton, PA, originally from Kearney, New Jersey, was charged with 3 misdemeanor counts for harassment for allegedly targeting a New Jersey offender online in connection with Wu's disappearance. Wu is his stepdaughter. Here is a photo of the 3 of them. Okay. Now, I went to go get the court documents on this, and I'm going over this just fast, because it doesn't really matter to the case. I just want you guys to know that this exists. So what has happened, I tried to get court documents, but the UJS website has been down all day. So basically what they're alleging is that John Gehrman, who is the stepfather of our missing girl, 14-year-old Aubrey Wu, has been harassing somebody who he believes, allegedly, might be involved in the disappearance of his stepdaughter. Okay? That's pretty much all there is. The family secrets kind of thing, that angle is really more about how teenagers kind of react to what they perceive as unfairness and being under the thumb of parents and so forth like that. I don't think that there's anything nefarious going on here. I really don't. I think that this is a case where we've got a 14-year-old girl. She is in danger in that she is 14 and she's on her own. She may be in the custody of other people. The police described her as having an online persona that was the poster child for trafficking. So we want to help find Aubrey Wu as quickly as possible and bring her home. So cutting past all that other stuff that exists, that is out there, but we're going to get to just the story. Okay. Now, one of the things that is important about this story, or one of the things that is terrific about the story, is that her parents, Jade and John, John being her stepdad, have created online a presentation for us to get to know this case. So we don't have to guess on a lot of stuff, right? We can go right to the meat of it, and that's what we're going to do now. This is little Aubrey, 14 years old, at a what's her name? She's at a concert. Billie Eilish. She's at a Billie Eilish concert. So anyway, she's a 14-year-old girl. She behaves like 14-year-old girls do. She's got the same problems that many 14-year-old girls do. But let's get into this, okay? Let's join me over on, where am I looking for? Let's go over here to the presentation, okay? Her name is Enci, goes by Aubrey Wu, and this presentation was developed by her mom and her stepdad. Okay, so little background on Aubrey. She was born in July of 2010 in China. From 2014 to 2021, she lived in the Bay Area in Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area. From 2021 to 2022, she resided in Jersey City, New Jersey, and then from 2022 to 2023, she was in Easton City, PA. As of February of 2023, she resides in Palmer, PA with her mother and stepfather. She's a freshman, class of 2028 at Easton High School. I think I have a picture of her with her yearbook here. She is in honors level courses, participates in several clubs. Her passions outside of school include ballet, volleyball, Billie Eilish, The Weeknd, and Drake. She is biracial. She's mixed Chinese, Mexican, and German. Beautiful young woman. She has never met her biological father. That's a little background information that they prepared. She's 5 feet tall. She weighs about 145 pounds. She has long, flowing black hair that you can see in this picture. You can see in other pictures as well. Long, flowing black hair. Well past her shoulders. Her hair is one of her greatest passions. Her eyes are hazel in color, and she does not wear glasses. One of the things that they bring up is that she has multiple piercings. We're going to get into some of those photos in each ear, and she usually wears earrings in each piercing. She has tattoos in 2 locations. We're going to look at those. 2 blue stars on the outside of her thumb and a tiny black heart up near her outer wrist above where she would wear a watch. Both tattoos are on her left arm. So these are identifying markings that we would be able to see. Now, apparently there have been some issues with young Ms. Wu over the last little while. Here is some personal background that they have brought in, that they have put into this presentation in regards to child and youth services, maybe some police issues, okay? Aubrey is a victim of multiple adult males in failing institutions, they say. In 2022, I don't want to use this word, but there was an issue in Easton City. I don't know exactly what they mean using this word. I imagine it was serious. It was reported later during therapy in spring of 2023. There have been no charges. In the winter of 2022, there was a referral concerning association with a female juvenile who was selling images of a very grown-up nature. I think that they mean to say there was an SA. I don't know specifically, but that was later in 2022. So I mean, we're talking she was 11, 12 years old here. In the summer of 2023, a device was discovered by her parents that had many troubling things, including a local female business owner over the age of and saying smoking marijuana, suggestions to blackmail various men. This phone was promptly shared and reviewed by the CYS social worker, who immediately opened a trafficking referral against the female adult. The phone was turned over to the Warren County, New Jersey DA. No charges were filed. Summer 2023, again, I think that they mean that's an SA in Easton City. That would be in Pennsylvania. No charges. Spring 24, she was picked up from her middle school, and I think they mean SA'd. I think that's what they're saying. I don't think that they mean like physical, fights or being beat up. They say no charges. Last winter, it says she was accused of participating in an very grown-up image with an upper-class male student. During the previous weeks, she was ridiculed and bullied. Her principal questioned her alone and never informed her parents until she ran away. So I think it's safe to say that this girl has had a tumultuous childhood. I don't know what the situation is at home that would cause this, or if it's a situation with friends that would cause this. I just don't know the background. But according to her parents, this is a girl that has been dealing with some very, very difficult issues for at least the last 3 years. Says they were approached by a Homeland Security trafficking task force who requested access to her social media accounts. In their words, quote, she had one of the best curated online brands for luring adult males, close quote. Initial request was fall of 2024, with a follow-up request January 2025 after she ran away. So, yeah, this is a girl that has she has some issues. Now, it does kind of seem like the trafficking task force is saying that maybe she is responsible for luring adult males, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't know that they mean that anyway. Maybe it's just that they're saying this is a young woman whose social media appears to be luring to sickos, disgusting weirdos. All right. Okay, let's get into let me bring you over here. These are the markings. You can see a little heart on the top of her left wrist, kind of up on the arm a little farther than where a wristwatch would be worn. You see two little stars on the pad of her thumb. In her ear, you can see multiple piercings up there in the top of her ear beyond the just traditional ones down in her ear lobes. These are easy ways for us to identify her. I think that she probably is in the eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey area. So if you're in that area, you're going to want to be on the lookout for her. Here's a little information on 24 hours prior to her leaving. Let me take a drink real quick, just a sec. Okay. So during the previous 24 hours, a troubling picture is crystallizing, they say. They emailed her history teacher at 10:57 a.m. to express concerns about a recent drop in her grade and insights on why. The teacher's response later that afternoon sheds light on recent distractions and behavior. At 11:17 a.m., they call. At 11:27 a.m., they email her in-school counselor and share several concerns, schedule a conference call, and get advice on ways to approach the matters with Aubrey. The counselor promptly responds with sound advice, and we review resources provided and plan to call back for a future meeting. This never happens due to the circumstances of January 10th. I'm sorry that I probably failed to mention that. She's been missing since January 10th of this year. But we have spoken with her both in person and via phone. This is the counselor, many times before these latest incidents. She has a strong relationship with Aubrey, which is why we reached out. On a previously scheduled call with her CYS caseworker, Destiny, we were asked about how we handled the latest CYS referral from December 19th. It was advised that the referral went to the Easton City PD. They never called us. And EAHS, that must be the high school, they never called us, and was considered serious in nature, they say. The referral was made by a classmate regarding an explicit photo of Aubrey and an upper-class boy. The referral included details that the image was circulating amongst the upper-class students, already potentially provoking bullying and concerns for Aubrey's safety and wellness, as reported by the juvenile female classmate. We are stunned to learn of the referral and complete lack of communication from CYS, police, and school administrators. So, wow, Aubrey is... I don't think young women, young girls understand they'd have to understand it on some level, but the mean nature of teenagers, man. If you as a young woman or even a young man, both, decide to take explicit pictures and share that with somebody, those will, it's not a question of if, they will be shared. They will go all around the world like that. And that will lead to terrible bullying. I know that young women especially are under immense pressure from young men to do explicit things. And I understand what peer pressure is. I understand. I was a teenager. I was not, thankfully, not a teenager in the modern world. But same thing happened back then. We just used Polaroids and stuff like that. So, uh, we need to talk to our sons and our daughters on both sides of the issue. Do not do this to somebody. Do not participate. Do not do that to anybody. And number two, do not bow to the pressure. Do not cave. Easier said than done. I totally get it. But it does seem like Aubrey was in over her head with some explicit issues in high school. And parents are saying that they recognized that something was going on because her grades dropped, and found out what was going on. Okay, so here's a timeline. By the way, in the chat, you guys know you put GF in the chat. That will help me to see in my filter. It'll help me see your comment on my side. Share some things that maybe we should talk about just in the broader context. I know we're talking about Aubrey right now, but in the broader context of helping our children, this is a channel where we try to learn, to help our children, our grandchildren, the kids in our lives that we care about, how we might be able to do that. If you have any expertise in that, share that in the comments. Okay, so what happens is at about 6:41 p.m., she is seen exiting the rear of their home in Easton on a neighbor's security camera. It is believed that Aubrey exited her bedroom window, and on Nancy Grace, the stepfather described this as not opening very much, just wide enough for like a window air conditioner, is about 8 inches. She appears to have squeezed out of the window onto the roof, jumped over onto the neighbor's roof, and climbed over a fence to the neighbor's back stairs. She really wanted to leave, apparently. So she's seen leaving the property through a grass alley out towards John Street. I should, by the way, let me bring up maps. And we're gonna, no, not maps.com, maps.google.com. And let's go to Stephen Street, Easton, PA. Is that where they said they were? I just want to... Easton City, right? No. Okay. I just want to find this thing. Here, I'm going to show a video of Aubrey while I'm looking for this. Stevens Street. There we go. Looking for it real quick. Philip, there's the end. Jewel, Catherine, Philip. Yeah, I can't find John's Alley. Oh yeah, well, I don't know that this is going to help us, guys, but this is our neighborhood. Here's Stephen Street. There's John Street. They run parallel to one another for about 2.5 blocks here. But this is the area that we're talking about. Easton, PA is, you can kind of see in the Allentown area, north of Philadelphia, west of New Jersey, not far from New Jersey. Okay. All right. Bring it back over here. Okay. All right. At about 8:03 p.m., the Palmer Police Department arrives at the home to conduct a welfare check after receiving a call from an anonymous woman. She claims her son is concerned since she had not heard from Aubrey for 24 hours. She claims they speak every day. And perhaps with the bullying that was happening at school, there's a police check. And I'm like, I have never once in my entire life had the police knock on my door to do a check for anything, right? I can't even remember if there's ever been police interaction ever at my home other than the police officers that I know personally. So I understand that that is not the case for a lot of families, and there are interactions with the law enforcement and, court community, let's put it that way. I saw this video on Nancy Grace. I'm trying to get the video. In fact, I've got an appointment to talk with John and Jade about this case on Wednesday. I just really felt like I should not wait for that conversation and bring this to you guys. But when the police knocked on the door and were like, "Hey, is Enci here?" He's like, "Yeah, should be. We just woke up from a nap. Aubrey?" He's like doing that. So anyway, it may have something to do with what had been going on at school. It is estimated that the welfare call was made at or around the same time that Aubrey left the home. We confirmed to Palmer PD that she was, in fact, present for school activities all day per a school-mandated in-home day. Aubrey is confirmed on the family's in-home camera at their kitchen table all day. Saturday the 11th at 4:28 a.m., we sent a group text to all contacts in Aubrey's phone after driving up and down every street in Easton City and Palmer. This is our first contact with her friends. At 9:18 a.m., we receive a response from a girl later identified as Aubrey's best friend, who provides us the knowledge that Aubrey has a secret Snapchat account, Aubrey's Not Found. Oh man, there are so many just red flags. Our kids don't understand the danger, man. They don't understand the danger. Okay, the best friend's identity is disguised in Aubrey's contact list under the name of another classmate that they are known to tease and bully in school. Oh, so they are bullies too. Her real identity is not known until after several interactions and her even speaking directly to Palmer PD under the false name during the initial welfare check. It's like these kids had planned this. At 2:54 p.m., after receiving no other responses from over 20 of Aubrey's friends, we make a second plea for information and help. The second message has several group and private responses from friends, all pointing to one specific friend who is identified as Aubrey's best friend, and numerous references to a burner phone. At 3:59, we're made aware that the best friend has established another group chat without us included, where she addresses the collective group of Aubrey's friends through an Instagram group chat. You can be the judge of the tone of the content. It is our feeling that Aubrey's best friend was attempting to shut down other girls from sharing information from us. And they're going to show us some of those screen grabs, okay? At 8:34 p.m. that night, while using Aubrey's Snapchat to contact her friends and ask for information, Jade receives a series of inbound messages from a boy in co-play apologizing to Aubrey for being unable to help her. This is our biggest break in the entire ordeal, and Jade is sitting at our computer after being awake for over 24 hours, tirelessly trying to get answers from Aubrey's friends. We are provided the phone number for an older lady who he alleges has just been to his home 30 minutes earlier with Aubrey. Okay, so 4 minutes later, they call Aubrey, the old lady, asking them to pull over and contact 911 via a voicemail as they did not answer the phone call. 2 minutes later, before calling the boyfriend, Jade and I sit at the table and review the Snapchat conversation history between the boy in Copley and Aubrey. We've been fielding theories and lies from the teenagers for just over 24 hours by this point. So while we immediately called the quote old lady and left a voicemail for Aubrey, we wanted to inspect the conversation history before calling the boy and discussing Aubrey's matter further. It is our intent to speak with his parents and gain more clarity on his claims about their relationship. It's difficult after reading their conversation in Snapchat to draw the conclusion that they are in a relationship. While it is obvious that this young boy is beyond smitten with Aubrey, from our perspective, it appears to be more unrequited and borders on stalking. On our home video, we can be heard discussing that it appears she may be using the boy. We can confirm that only moments before contacting us, the boy had re-added Aubrey in Snapchat. So, at 9 o'clock p.m. that day, so it's the day after she went missing, after numerous calls from Jade and I are sent to voicemail, we also send this old woman a text hoping she would see our message and listen to our voicemails. At 9:05 p.m., still having no contact from the old woman, we try another approach and text her again and include the detective from Palmer PD who is leading the missing child case. So it looks like in the first one they say, "You are kidnapping our daughter. We are working with numerous agencies from the state caring for our daughter. You are making a huge mistake," it says. "I am adding Detective Strong from the Palmer Police to this chat. He starts his shift right now and has been looking for Enci since yesterday." And then the second one says, "Please help us, Detective Strong. This is the phone number of an elderly woman who lives near Parkland Regional High School who has kidnapped Enci Wu. Enci and the woman just left the home of one of Enci's boyfriends and he promptly called us. She has turned off her device." Okay, let me just make a comment on this. Number one, I completely understand. No, I don't want to overstate. I can sympathize with what Aubrey's parents must be feeling. I don't completely understand it. It's never happened to me before, but I sympathize. It is one of my just biggest nightmares that one of my children will be taken. So I sympathize and understand to the best that I can what is happening in their minds right here. I will say that I don't think that it helps to overstate what is happening. They don't know that she is being kidnapped. They know that she ran away, right? And the police will take you seriously as long as you remain serious. As soon as you start acting like a crazy person, and I'm saying this with all due respect, and I'm hoping to have Jade and John on the program later this week. So I'm saying this with all due respect, but knowing the way police work, the moment they sniff a little crazy, that's the direction they go. So we have to be very careful when we interface with police. I think the ultimate example that we as parents can follow when it comes to a missing persons case, how to behave as parents, is the case of Gabby Petito. Her parents and her step parents, right? She had two sets of parents that all got along wonderfully. So we should try really hard not to overstate things, not to exaggerate things. That, I don't know, but complete and total sympathy for Jade and John in this case. Okay. They show some screen grabs here are the calls that they made over the 11th. Here are, calls, 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 calls. So they've brought their receipts to this presentation. Okay, at 10:47 p.m., we receive a phone call from the Palmer PD lead detective advising that the Pennsylvania State Police has found the woman's residence, but the old lady advises that Aubrey ran out her back door 20 minutes earlier. It is absolutely devastating to us, say Jade and John, that we had made several calls after learning about the old woman and there was no sense of urgency to locate Aubrey, interrogate this old woman, or treat her with the hostility that we feel it deserved. We get in our car and drive all around the Parkland Regional High School community, desperately searching for Aubrey ourselves, which I completely get. I mean, that's what you should be doing if you've got a missing daughter, right? This is the anti-Jennifer Soto. This is what you should be doing. Okay, and then these are the texts between John and the best friend. So let me see if I make this a little bit bigger. Will it look okay? Yeah, okay. So hello, this is John Enci Wu's stepdad. We've been driving around frantic all night trying to find her. We know from the police you were helpful and know that she has a second phone. Her mother is very worried as she's still not home. You would be a real help if you could contact Enci and let her know we're very worried. She's not in trouble and to please contact us. She may not have my number memorized, so please feel free to share it. Thank you. And then the best friend responds, hi, I've been very worried about her too, and I'm upset that she still hasn't been found. I already have tried to contact her, but she never responded to me. A lot of my friends have been trying to reach out too, but no response, and nobody has the phone number on her other phone either. I'm really sorry I can't help more, but I hope you find her soon and that she's safe. And I think that they said earlier that this girl was on the other side telling people not to help. But okay. He says, thank you. I'm curious how you tried to contact her. I'm holding her real phone and there's no incoming messages or calls. Good on her. Oh, I texted her through Snapchat. That's what I usually text and call her on. He says, what's her username, please, and any other socials? We can give that to the police to track her. She says, I'll go check right now. And any information on men in her life would help, not boys. The older guy's paying her. Paying her. Oh my goodness, she is in trouble. If I'm not saying she's in trouble with the police. I'm saying she's dug herself into trouble. If there are men paying her. We don't care to get any of you kids in trouble. She has serious mental health issues and could be murdered by now if we can't help locate her. And she says her Snapchat username is Aubrey's Not Found. She never told me about any older guys paying her. She just tells me about the guys in our school and Wilson. He responds, the police told us that the mother of the boy very close to her is who called them. Very close, talks every day and night. Aubrey must have called that boy and told her plans for last night because he freaked immediately and told his mom to call police ASAP. They stormed over here with 5 cars pounding on our windows. I'm sorry to involve you, but we need to help. And then she asked, was the boy redacted? No, police went there. He claims to have zero knowledge of a second phone and last spoke to her on Sunday. I think redacted was totally unhelpful. Do you know when and where she got a second phone from? And the response was, she told me she bought it from somebody on her bus. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Maybe whoever gave it to her can help us. The response is, I don't know, though. And then he asks, is it true the boy redacted's sharing nude photos of her around school? Police are worried she can be having a manic episode over it now that her mom and I know about it. And she responds, redacted claims to only show one boy the photo, and when Enci told me about that situation, she did not seem to act crazy about it. She was not really worried at all. And he says, that's interesting. She freaked out last night, Thursday, and said it's all lies and there's no truth to any of it, shaking my head. but CYS and police believe it's true. Her mom and I have no clue what's going on. So that's what that conversation was. Group texts. So here's the group text. Hello, this is Enci Woo's stepdad, John. Enci ran away today at 6:40 Friday and still hasn't come home. The police have been searching for her. Please, if any of you know a way to reach her, please let her know. Mom and I are very worried and want her to please come home. Sorry for the early text, but I'm sure you understand we are desperate for any help or information. Thank you. If you don't want to contact me directly, you can simply call the Palmer police. They have already issued a lookout to all local police and will pick her up safely. That was at 4:34 a.m. At 2:54 p.m. Hello again. Enci has still not been located by the police. The only way they can find her if someone who has her burner phone number provides it to us so they can trace it. Please, we are asking for one of you to help. And an answer says, I don't think her burner phone has a number. And I don't have her burner phone number, sorry. I know she has a second phone, but I don't know the number to that one either. And then he says, hey guys, if someone provide me the redacted last name, this person introduced Enci to a grown man who assisted her leaving our home. And Easton, the man goes by, and then the name. A response says, I don't know which blank, but it might be redacted. Okay. So this, and they say these are the only responses out of 20 friends. Here are the secret group texts. Holy cow, man. They're good. Okay. So this was shared by one of Aubrey's friends. This is a group chat from the best friend. So Enci's dad just called me saying 5 people claimed redacted, introduced Enci to redacted. So let me know why you guys are lying, first of all. And second, on my name. Also, that's so dumb to lie when an actual person is missing. You know you guys are going to get questioned about this too. Enci met blank on Snapchat, so I don't understand why you guys are conversing and blaming this S on me. If you're one of the 5, let me know what your problem is. And then somebody responds, I really don't have a problem with anyone, but her dad just asked me who blank was, and I knew a name, but I don't know which blank it actually is. I'm sorry if I offended you, but I thought it would help him. And then it says, I'm asking about the dead silent people who decided to lie in an actual important situation. I don't know TF blank is, but if you know who blank is, you need to tell Enci's dad. I really don't know what the problem is and why you guys can't give valid information. Don't just make S up to get yourselves out of the situation because you're making it harder to find her. It does seem like she's trying to help here. And then the person who grabbed the screenshot says, I didn't say anything about a blank. What is it? I don't know who you are. I told him all I know, which is barely anything, but I didn't say anything about you. And then I don't know who blank is, just know who Enci was. We fell off a month or 2 ago, but her dad called me as well and was asking if I knew a blank, because people were claiming you know where she is and stuff, and you know who blank is and all that stuff. And I told him I don't know who anybody is but Enci. Sorry if I offended you as well. All right. So it's a bunch of teenagers acting like teens, man. Man, the Snapchat conversation. I don't know that I'm not able to really read all that, but let's hear what they say. It's our opinion, given the nature of their conversations, which appeared to be very one-sided, that this boy is not in fact her boyfriend. It appeared more likely to us that Aubrey had used this boy for attention, validation, and material things he would later admit to purchasing for her. But more troubling for us after the fact was his comments about being together forever, thinking of her a lot in a fantasy end state, and this frequent comments about his mental state. One of the first things he wanted to discuss with us when we called was Aubrey's ghosting and cheating rumors. He even was the first one to initiate a texting record with us purely based around his concern for Aubrey's safety. We are very troubled this young man and his parents would not have been questioned by police nor had their devices reviewed for evidence. Of course, they wouldn't know if, well, they might know. Last thing on their thing here is what to do if you think you spot Enci/Aubrey. Okay. First, take a photo or video immediately. Note the location, the time, the surrounding area cameras. Try to observe any odd behaviors or companions. Proceed to call 911. Advise them you're reporting a missing kid sighting. Provide them Enci Aubrey Wu details. Missing since January 10th from Palmer. The police report number, it's 25-00323. It's an active missing person case. The name of the lead detective, who is Brian Strong. And then that is the number of her father, 201-289-1228. And he's saying you can do that after you've done everything else. And I normally wouldn't share phone numbers like this, but they specifically are sharing this. So that is what we know so far about Aubrey Wu. Let's bring a picture of her up here, and we're going to go to your comments. I'm very curious what you guys have to say tonight. This whole thing just scares me to death. It's a scary situation, man. And it appears that she planned to run away, it seems like. Okay. Becca says, Gavin, sounds like she might have bipolar or schizophrenia on top of everything. Poor girl. Yeah. She definitely is troubled. And Robin asked, do they even diagnose bipolar at 14? I don't know. Let's see. Gonna see if there's anything else here. Lenny Pearl, made alive. Well, thank you very much, Lenny. Glad you're here. Lori Dean says, nowadays it's just as likely that she met up with an angry, jealous girl who wanted to harm her for her actions. Tina says, the importance of keeping tabs on their account and bringing up a conversation with them about what could happen with examples of a case or another kid's story. Open communication is key. Yeah, I was in some school board meetings. This was last year, and parents were upset about a certain thing that was happening in the school, and the superintendent was like, guys, you don't understand the kinds of issues that we see on a daily basis with kids at our school. They're constantly being lured out to the interstate. And if they make it all the way to the interstate, our chances of ever seeing them ever again falls dramatically. Right? And she was very, very real with people in the meeting, and she's not wrong. I mean, there are groups in our area that go after predators like this, but for every one that's caught, there's got to be 1,000 that aren't. One Man's Trash says, Gavin, her being essayed that many times should be throwing up red flags to her parents. That is not normal. And why is one child being singled out that many times for essaying? Not victim blaming. Yeah, it does appear that this young woman has some mental health issues. I mean, her parents have said that. And, she's been according to her parents, been the victim of SA multiple times. That's the way it reads to me anyway. And it could, I don't know the psychology of this. This is something, again, we should get Beth Meeks on. We should bring Beth Meeks on to talk about this sort of thing. Because it's just, you're right. If this is happening, so many times, I would imagine that there are issues. Caitlin says, I live at this location. The parents' actions are very suspicious since she went missing. Some people have said that, and let me address it. I don't know if I should address it this way or not. There is just a certain part of the population that have interactions with law enforcement, with the criminal justice system, with child and youth services, and it's normal in that part of society. It is suspicious to the rest of us who don't live in that part of society. I mean, I was talking to a guy today. His son was the victim of a brutal beatdown that was caught on video. But this is a family where, I mean, the father has been in and out of prison. The mother went missing and was gone for something like 8 months, and finally her remains were found. I mean, there are people with issues. There's a certain segment of our society with issues. And maybe the reason why Gabby Petito resonated with all of us so well is because it just was so cognitively dissonant. There were none of the red flags. And it might be the reason why cases like Aubrey's don't resonate with us as well, because of all the red flags. And I've been fighting against this since Amanda Winkowski. Like, you guys know I've covered Amanda's case so much on this channel, and I care about this family so much, but because she was a sex worker who was addicted to heroin, people just don't seem to care. And it just really drives me crazy. So, in complete out of respect for you, Caitlin, I'm not pointing the finger at you at all. I'm just using your comment as a prompt to discuss how I feel about this. There are people that act suspiciously to the rest of us who are part of that segment of society that for one reason or another has these interactions with law enforcement, COIS, and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't change the fact that we've got a missing girl. And it appears, I mean, one of the things that I didn't bring up is not only do they have her on camera leaving, but she was also, police found her on camera at a Wawa about 20 minutes away, right? This is definitely her at the Wawa. So I think this is a runaway situation, not a parents are involved with her going missing kind of situation. It could possibly be that there are some troubles at home that she's running away from. Those troubles could range on the spectrum from doesn't think that it's fair that you took away my phone, which apparently is the prompt in all this, to parents are terribly abusing their daughter. There's that wide spectrum, right? But it does not change the fact right now that we've got a missing 14-year-old girl. To me, that's the most important thing. Caitlin, hopefully you don't feel picked on, because I really deeply appreciate that comment. It helped me to get out what I was feeling about that sort of thing. Saris Entwistle, Saris, I'm sorry, I butchered your name. Says, Gavin, she's 14 with 2 tattoos. Concerning, or is that normal for teens? In the state of Pennsylvania, teens do not need parental permission, I believe, after the age of 16. And if you go to any high school in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you will find teenagers with full arm sleeves of tattoos. I don't get it. I am of a different generation. I follow the whole Kim Kardashian thing. Don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. But kids these days are tattooing, and oftentimes they are not going to a tattoo parlor. They're buying tattoo machines on Amazon and are giving each other tattoos. It's crazy. It is a little concerning to me, but I don't know that it's concerning to the generation. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you said earlier, tattoos already. Yeah, that is weird. To be allowed tattoos at 14, it sounds like mom is more of a best friend, maybe. It does, and it does kind of feel like they do have that kind of relationship. She is an only child. And, the pictures of them together are very friendly. It does seem a little less parental. So I think that's probably Lori That's probably a pretty good observation. All due respect to her parents, we all try to figure it out all alone, and some of us are good at it, some of us are not, most of us are somewhere in between, right? Bree says, Gavin, I hope this isn't Hannah Kobayashi type situation where she just wants freedom and wants to go out and go her own thing until it gets boring and she has no money and then goes back home. I kind of hope that it is that, Bree. Oh, you did say that. You said, I hope this isn't. I kind of hope it is. I hope that if out of all the runaway options, I hope that it is something as simple as she just wanted a little bit of freedom, thinking she was grown up at 14. Because several of the alternatives to that are scary to me. Let's see. Patty Olson says, people with trauma and mental illness need to be looked for just as much as the pretty blonde young woman. Yes, indeed. And I don't think that, honestly, I think Gabby Petito, yes, she's cute, van life, and it was so adorable and all that, but that wasn't it. It was that there weren't all of the weird red flags that made us look at Gabby Petito. But I am glad. I mean, there has been, Dateline has covered Aubrey's case. Nancy Grace has covered the case. It's being covered really well with the local media out there. So yeah. And Patty, thank you for expressing that way better than I did. People with trauma and mental illness also need to be found. Medi, I'm not familiar with that case. But, oh man. Donna Dwyer says, I care about Amanda and Leslie very much. No justice for Amanda. Yeah. Kathy, Aubrey's case. Definitely bring back Beth Meeks. Kathy says, this girl lives in my area. I'm following very closely. So heartbreaking. Yeah. You guys have some really good. Oh, it's like Karis. Got it. Karis. What a cool name. Is that something like Irish or Gaelic or something like that? I've never seen that name before. It's really cool. Gothic Bree then says, I hope that all these agencies are looking for her and all these resources, and she sees the news but just ignores it and to continue on with what she wants. I want her to get back safe. Of course you do, Bree, because you're awesome. Yeah. Steffi says, I work in a high school in Pennsylvania, 15 minutes from Easton, and many students with lots of tattoos. Autumn has a tattoo machine, but she would never tattoo her kids. Yeah, permission or not, my 14-year-old comes home with tats. They will be removing it. Here is a little anecdote about me. My parents were adamant. Of course, tattoos were out of the question. Nobody would even consider that when I was a kid. But one of the things that I really wanted to do was get an earring. And I played around with different things, magnetic earrings and clip-on earrings. And all. I wanted an earring really bad. And one day I was feeling especially brave. And so in high school, me and my friends took some MIG welding rod, formed it, put a point on it, and then with a pair of pliers, I can't remember which side it was because it was cool on one side, but it wasn't on the other. Whatever it was. I was like, or I can't remember. And I pierced my ear. It bled and it was painful. But by the end of school, I was still wearing it in my ear. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm pretty cool. Now, my mom had always said that if any of us came home with an earring, she would be pulling it out the hard way. And the whole day I was like, I'm not afraid of my mom. And then the moment I walked home, it's a 3-mile walk, easy 3 miles. It wasn't like uphill both ways in the snow. Easy, beautiful Northern Californian walk home. I get home and I'm about to open the door. And just as I'm about to open the door, I take out the earring. And then later that night, my mom notices the hole in my ear and goes, what happened there? I said, I pierced my ear, but I took it out. That was smart, is what she said. I don't know. Let's see. See if there's anything else you guys are saying. Let's bring her back up. Gavin, she ran away in the middle of the night and was caught on surveillance. And when she was 19, oh, this is the case. She turned herself in because she couldn't get a license because she was a missing person in the database. Wow. Tanya says, I'm almost 40 and just pierced my best friend's nose in our kitchen. At 16, I would have gotten a tattoo. In New York, had to be 18. Ah, your name is Welsh. Cool. Bree says, my daughter at the age of 14 thought she was 21 and had to keep being reminded, you are 14. Yeah. Anna says, so she ran away from trouble straight into another level of trouble. Yeah, and she won't understand it. Robin says, I always tease my adult daughter that all those tattoos she has adds up to a lot of college money. Yeah. Kathy says, Aubrey's case is not strange in relation to what her parents say was normal for their situation. I can't understand why the police don't try to help. It kind of feels like the police are trying to help, just maybe not at the level that they want them to help at. I'm trying to, I don't know, be fair, right? Anyway, guys, that is the case. If you have seen Enci Aubrey Wu, long flowing black hair, hazel eyes, multiple piercings in her ears of Chinese / German / English descent, with a tattoo. She's what is she, a freshman? She'd have to be a freshman in high school. And let me bring up these tattoos again real quick. Here we are. So a little heart tattoo on her left forearm, close to her wrist there, and 2 stars on the pad of her left palm. She loves Billie Eilish, and she acts like a 14-year-old. I mean, that's not understanding the danger that she has put herself in, and that is tragic. I believe it probably had something to do with stress compounded with maybe some mental illness, maybe bullying and really bad experiences with SA. But we need to find her. We need to find her. So look for her, everybody. If you happen to see her, see, her smile has one of those teeth, looks like on her left side, that is a little out of place. So she has kind of that youthful smile with like her canine that's up a little higher. I'm trying to just picture things that are unique to her. That's what we're looking for. Okay. All right. Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. We will try really hard to have Aubrey's parents, Jade and John, on the show, maybe this week, maybe next, but it will be soon. The next time you will see me, hopefully, if you stick around, will be tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern here on the channel. We live stream every night at 7:30. Quick plug before we go. You can find me at my website, gavinfish.com. You can see all the cases that I'm working on. You can see some of the articles that we're publishing on Crime Cod. You can reach me by clicking this little link right here. If you click on the fish, that will take you to the fish tank on Facebook. We're about 3,800 strong now, so we invite you to join us there to talk about true crime, this case, cases I cover, and others. You're always welcome. With that, I will bid you adieu until tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, right here. Hopefully I'll see you then. Until then, take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.